Today is, what is today?
November 21st.
Okay, Friday, November 21st, 2014. The last that we stopped, Yang, was really about the logistical organizing from the different troops during the Vietnam War. But we also talked a little bit about your love life. And the
Yes.
questions that I asked today are actually directly from different community members.
Yes.
And this one is actually from Blue. So I want to go back to your love life actually.
Yes. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I know you want to talk about the politics too, but this is a good question from Bloom. Bloom. So how did you fall in love? And what
How? What do you mean? How?
how did you fall in love?
It comes
You
to you. It comes to you.
so you met Merle
Yes.
and you mentioned maybe like a few statements about it, and then I actually stopped you because I knew there was a question about it.
Yes. What kind of question? How did I fall in
How
love?
did you fall in love? What do you think are important characteristics to have in a
Partner.
partnership?
Partnership.
Partner and partnership.
Usually people were looking. I was looking at something we have in common, and Merle is already in solidarity with Vietnam since she was 13, and at the time I met her, which was in 1977, and she was about 1920, and she was already in the movement for that long, and we already knew each other, and then she was helping with security and the logistic of security. I was in logistic of security for event. That event was the celebration of Vietnam to be accepted to be a member of the United Nations, and that is a rare event for people to come for celebration and help with very actively in that event. And so I a lot of my friends said Merle was like very beautiful, and I noticed that also. That's number two. 2 point. Point
The
three
first
was
time you met her?
yes. The first time my friend already told me, but I was worrying with the big event because I was the main person who organized it. There were about 200 people volunteer for security and union security, which is really good, and also from Puerto Rican, Latin American, um, Vietnamese, and our union was there, so we have about 670 people, but only a few of us was doing security close by, close up security with the delegation, and also the right wing was chasing us all the time, at that time, because they know that Vietnam went into the United Nations and they want to prevent it, and they couldn't prevent it. So they want to prevent delegation from going around the city. So they were listening for different events. So I have to organize several different plans for security, and then I put more into the center stage with several friends who was in the committee in solidarity with the National Liberation Front in New York. So that I had a lot of advice from friends and Asian Americans also. I remember from Japanese American and Korean American.
Advice for what?
Advice in security, dealing with different groups in New York, which group you should accept to do security. You cannot accept just everybody, and liberal you can't do just liberal. They just be guests, nice guests. Um, so that
Your third,
after
you mentioned a third approach.
the third approach. Yeah, I was about to go into the third approach.
Sorry.
Was the length of time we spent together, and until 78, then we had a problem with Cambodia, and we're frantically, trying to figure out what's going on. And Vietnam says that a lot of Cambodian and Vietnamese at that time was really confused by the situation. For Vietnam boot out Pol Pot, and you can see on TV the North Korean was running toward the border, and the U.S. captured the picture, of them, and also Chinese. Uh, so at that time, Vietnam, China, and North Korea are very close friends, and Pol Pot too. So that was confused everybody like hell, and we were like trying to figure out what's going on. We knew that Pol Pot started attacking Vietnam since 1975, and it was 1978, and it escalated into a war, and then uh, uh, they moved troops to the border, and the Vietnamese snapped them like very quickly because the Vietnamese do not fight with them. They just go around them in the back and go into Phnom Penh, and they were like disband, disintegrated very quickly. And so um, right at that time, we had a group of reporters from New York was allowed to go into Cambodia, and they went into Phnom Penh and found Queensland. And that was no news about that, but our friend from New York already captured it on TV how the Pol Pot had money, printed money, but they didn't use, he didn't use it, and also people at that time didn't have any water, and so they went into the Chinese embassy and they found a lot of wine, and so they drank wine. And also that they found Tung Slang, where a lot of friends from New York, who Cambodian American from New York, who volunteered to come back, and they got killed in Tung Slang with concussion and everything like that. And so some of our friends in New York who were Cambodian uh, went back into Cambodia to find out about the family, because they didn't know what happened to their friends after um, after they volunteered to go back to Cambodia. And so at that time, we were talking about what is socialist country, what is the difference, what when the socialist country is in a clash like Vietnam and Cambodia. There's a lot of questions at that time about in the movement. And so the Filipino and us had talked, and we were in agreement that we have to wait and see, but because the number of people killed in Queensland was so big that Vietnam actually rescued Cambodia from massacre, that massacre of Cambodian by Pol Pot. And at that time, we didn't know that the U.S. supported that too
Which
until
effort? The Vietnam.
support Pol Pot. And it was an Australian reporter who had the film called Year Zero. Today, Year Zero was rated as the most influential policy changer uh, documentary. After he did it, Margaret Thatcher from England uh, refused to support Pol Pot, and they pulled out of the coalition, and so it left with the U.S. and China. And at that time, I met with the undersecretary of the foreign of the Department of State, Mrs. Hutala at that time. I told her, "What is the situation here? Why don't you support to bring Pol to world court on genocide? Because 2.5 million people got killed." And she was silent. We did that. I met her several times and I tried to say, "Why do you punish Vietnam for doing this?" And so there was no answer. Um, in any case, Merle and we at that time, 78, we formed the committee in solidarity with Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, with a Cambodian friend who knew the problem with Pol Pot and agreed to join. And so we had that coalition for a long time. And Merle was one of the founders. And so we had a lot of meeting. During that meeting, the relationship is closer, and we studied together. We had a book called The Origin of the Family, and we read it together. Um, and the and the joint study becomes a date. I don't know how it became one like that. I never had a date
Did you
like
go
that.
eat together too?
Yes, and we went eat together, Chilean food, and it was like there was a very inexpensive Chilean food uh, on liquor. At that time, we had Chilean food. It was really good, and so that becomes history.
What was your most memorable date?
Memorable date is June 1st. When I declared. Yeah, yeah.
How
The
did you
first.
declare it? What
Uh,
did you declare and then how did you do it?
wow. Um, the new year, during that year, we had a meeting, and it was about the new year, Vietnamese New Year, and so we had a meeting and we came out, and everybody's kissing each other, and so Merle gave me a kiss. I remember very well because it was raining, and we hugged and gave kiss like 4, 5, 6 people, but come to Merle, she gave me a kiss, and my knee just buckled. I almost fell on the floor. I said, it feels so good, I almost fell on the floor. Uh, and then, up until June, from February to June, like 4 months, we studied together and become. And on that day, we were walking around NYU, and it was the flowers coming out, the sun was shining, it's a beautiful day, and we walked by uh, um, a an ivy and then bush of roses and things like that. And then we are there, and suddenly we say, I should kiss her. And so I kissed her and say, and I said, like becomes our anniversary day. It's not the wedding day, but it's when we declare. By that time, we already um, met together several times. She lived in Brooklyn. I live in Queens. Traveling was really the only place that we meet easily was
Manhattan.
in the NYU, Washington Square Park.
Where did you live in Queens and where does she live in Brooklyn?
She live in now it's very expensive. I forget the area. We have to take a D train to go there.
Okay.
And for
Is it near like Sheepshead Bay, Coney
Queen,
Island?
I was living outside of Forest Hill.
Oh, okay. You're kind of far.
Yes, very far. And whenever she see me in Queens, it's like very far travel.
That's how you know they like you.
Yeah.
So then fast forward how many years till the marriage?
Oh, we didn't get married until I graduated from NYU, and people suggested we should get married. By that time, a lot of my friends and my family said uh, had no
Objection?
objection about marrying a uh, a non-Vietnamese woman. Uh,
How did you introduce her to the family?
yeah, I just introduced her to the family. By that time, I was like 60. I was like 32 already. My mother was like scared because I won't get married. I had a girlfriend, and my mother, a girlfriend who died in 78, and I didn't meet any other woman, until I heard she died. And so my mother was really scared because her parents disapproved of me, and then she couldn't do it. And then by the time she could do it, then my mother said, "Too far away, we can get in touch with Nhan anymore."
When
Because
she moved back to Vietnam?
she moved back to Vietnam in 1974,
Yeah, and her parents were working under
the Saigon
yeah.
government, high ranking.
Okay.
So, um, so by that time, my mother was really scared. She was happy that I found a partner, and my friend who was in New York and in the move in the Association of Vietnamese in the U.S. for a long time. They didn't see me doing anything, and so they were worried. And they said, and by the time that I introduced Merle, everybody was happy. So then, then in '84, then people would settle down and agree that I was hanging out with Merle a lot and I live with her and things like that for like 4 years. Uh, it didn't matter anymore, and they suggested we got married. So I got married. We organized a marriage, our own marriage, in the Washington Square Church.
Oh, you did. I only heard about the marriage in
Yuri
Vietnam.
Kochiyama and her husband came, and
Okay.
then Geronimo Pratt and a lot of people in the movement came by.
What was your ceremony like?
We just like organize a place that to 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 vow, to create a vow for ourselves. By that time we didn't have any ring and anything. We didn't care more about that. Doing a ceremony was just like a time for celebration, a time for commitment. Uh, so we didn't have rings, we didn't do anything. So we invite most parents and some of their relatives, and uh, Judge Bruce Wright came by. He read poetry. He was one of the famous judge in New York. He came by. A lot of people whom I know later on. I have a list of very long group of people come by, and,
Do you remember your vows?
no, but I have better vow right now. At that time, we just vow to love each other. Uh, but moral politics was good and left, so it make it easy. And she was more talented than me, yeah. So, and so I rely on her a lot on discuss political issues, and she make it easier for because sometimes most I tend to wander around the issue, uh, and 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 Mer helped me a lot on that. I asked her for opinion before I do something, so that is helpful. And we are so different that becomes an asset. So two people who are different and who have same politics, uh, then it would be like an advantage.
Well, that segues into the question of what are the important characteristics to have in a partner
That's
in
three.
partnership.
That's three, right?
Yep.
The partner is different from you, very different. So you're always on your toes because you don't know what he or she will say on some issue. And the difference becomes an asset because you can look at things in a different way.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Uh, in which angle, you know?
Any angle.
Yeah, it's.
How long have you been together now?
So since 1980, it's 40. It's 34 years. Yes. So uh, I think I think this the passion for each other at the beginning is very important. It helps you to overcome differences. We were so different, yeah, and I noticed that because culturally different. Vietnamese usually I grew up to not say anything about our differences and listen and try to figure it out. But and then someday, you know, the difference come out and we explode, and then Mo say, "Why did you tell me at the beginning? You know, it's easy. You know." Oh. And I realize that so many times, from time to time.
You think that's Vietnamese culture?
Vietnamese culture from the beginning, you are advised when you come to see your people, new people that you observe very well. Yeah,